4, 5, 6, 7. You see this one here? This is where the curve goes this way, and then at the 7th, it moves the other way. So you have a concave area, and you have a convex area. Why is this important? Because that is the point that we're going to be using for, especially, when you're drawing the side, where there is, like this, where there's an inclination going one way and then the other. So there's this distance from here to here, from the bottom of the eye, from here to here, okay? And this distance is about the same, a little less, all right? So if we're going to do this, we're going to place this here, and the neck then goes in the concave area. But look, see, this is higher here and lower here. So the actual neck itself has to come in at an angle so that it meets, and then you have the bottom of the neck, which is right where the clavicle starts, okay, is lower than where this will move and go the other way. You understand? And so here we're going to have some skin over it. And so this is going to look like that. Got it? So make sure that you don't draw a straight line here or there. This is at an angle. This is higher. This is lower. So from the side, and then I'll show you all the other two sides, the front and... Okay. So the eye then is connected. So the eyeball is in the socket here. And if I were to draw the eyeball, the top line of the lid is always straight when you're looking straight on. Okay? If you happen to be above or below, then it'll change the position to either a concave area or a convex area. But for the most part, we're always looking at somebody straight on. And so this top line here is going to so here we have the top portion of the lid. Here's my eyeball. The lower portion is, I'm going to draw these larger next time and actually draw each piece. So I'm going to do the structure first, and then so that we have the side, the front, and 3/4, okay? And then I'm going to show you how to draw this eye later in a bit more relationship. But just remember that from here, this is not an Egyptian person. Okay, so don't give me Egyptian eyes. You know what I mean by an Egyptian eyes. Straight on, okay? It's a profile. So the distance from here to here is the same as here to here. Why? Because the eyeball is in the socket. Now this can change, okay? And it can change based on the skull. That eye may move forward, okay? But really what happens is it appears that it's moving forward, but in reality the cheeks come way, instead of lining up here, this cheek will come over here. See what I mean? And so as a result, the eye will line up. So when you touch the cheek with the eye, it'll actually touch, because it feels like it's projecting forward, but it really isn't. The bone is coming forward down here. Okay? So the more deep set your eyes are, the more of a lid you're going to have. Okay, so here's my lid here. And now, this comes at an angle. it's almost at the same angle as this. In other words, the top portion of the eye isn't drawn like this. In other words, don't draw an eye like this. Nice and even. Okay, that's not an eye. And then, don't put the lid here. And then the lid here. That doesn't work. But I'll show you how that will be drawn later. Okay? Now, this is still at a slight, but what you don't want to do is make this the same. You know, nice and even. First of all, it goes around. The lid goes around the iris. And there's just like an orange, for instance. You know, if you have an orange and you peel it, right, you're going to take away the rind here, see, and then the eye starts here, not there. And then you're going to see the underneath portion of this and the top portion of this. See? And here's where the iris is. So, in other words, there's room because the lid is made out of skin. Okay? So don't give me that shows no dimension whatsoever. Okay, so if I were to draw my actual skin on top here, that's what it would look like. Okay, because of the skull underneath. Any questions? So this is a profile eye. So what have you learned? And the ear, of course, will start here and it will end underneath the nose, which is here. Okay? And it comes at an angle. The eyelashes are up here. So this is where the midpoint is. Okay? So the ear then will end just slightly below that so that it comes at an angle. And we'll talk about the Y later. So the ear fits in there. Now, when you really look at this, if you see this and you're looking at it in terms of distance, okay, this is approximately half. Okay, so if I were to look at this area right here and say, okay, if I take this where my ear is, you see, and you measure it like that, okay? From here, from this back point to there, it's approximately half of what you see. However, never put the ear in the middle, okay? It's always toward the one side, in this case, because this is going at an angle. And you look at the distance between where the ear is here in the back of the neck. Remember, the hole is here, but the ear moves back. So placing the ear is an important part of what we're trying to do because we need to use that as a resource for us to determine where the highest part of the head is, which is where? Right above it. Okay? So don't give me a Frankenstein look here. Most of you will do that. You'll make a nice flat head. Okay? Remember, it curves so that this curve here is greater than that one. This is shorter. This is more subtly gradated. Any questions?
Can you show the marks of the shoulders and the shoulders, the crop?
Yes. Okay. So if you look at this, see the clavicle comes up at an angle here like this. This is the point that is lower than this. This is higher, this is lower. This relationship, this part and that part, goes to where the eye socket starts. You see this? That shape and that shape. It's about the same, which is basically a little shorter if you were going to consider the eyeball. Okay, well, what you have to do is think of it over here. Feel it. Can you feel that bone? Okay, just a little underneath the eyeball. So those of us who are getting older, we have these kind of sags underneath there. It's where the sag starts, from there to here, and from here to there. Okay? So don't make the neck too long. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it depends on the person. Sometimes these bones are pretty spread apart. You have a lot more cartilage in there, and so you just have a lot more room. But these are general criteria that we're using. Is that clear?
Where does the shoulder start in relation to the neck?
Okay, if you look at this here, it starts at number 7. Why is 7 an important part? Because if you were a bad girl or a bad boy and they hang you, that's the first thing that breaks. Do you know that? Yes. Right here. This is where it breaks. Right there. Because there's a change that takes place from going this way to that way.
You're lucky if it breaks, otherwise you just strangle.
I know. You're just stuck there for hours and hours, right? So, in terms of the shoulders, if you look at this point, which is right here, right, this is where the shoulder begins too. So, if I'm going to, this is the 7th vertebrae here, so you see the shoulder starts there.
And the bone, where's the bone?
And this is the clavicle here. That's connected to that.
And then the shoulder bone from the side.
Yes. In other words, here's my clavicle. See this? This is where the shoulder starts.
Does that bone really hang down like that, or is it hooked up high into the clavicle?
This one?
on the side?
No, this is a problem. This one here. Okay, it's fine. But this is what I'm talking about, where the clavicle meets the scapula. You know what this means? What does scapula mean? Anybody? Shovel. Doesn't it look like a shovel? Hand here?
That's what it's called, scapula?
Yeah, it's Italiano, actually. Yeah. It's Latin. You don't see the shovel? Here's the handle. See?
It's more like a spade.
A spade.
Lenny,
Yes.
the top of the head, the tip of the ear, it depends on the person.
The inside of the ear.
To the top of the head is half to the bottom of the jaw,
No.
more or less.
No. No.
It's shorter,
Okay.
the top.
See where this eye comes in and ends? If I draw a line here like this, and if I draw a line on the chin like this, and I draw a line on the top of the head, this and this is the center.
Yeah. Oh, the center
You
of
said
the
the ear.
Yeah.
Not the center of the ear.
No, not really.
The eyes are the center of
I
the
see, I
head.
got it.
Okay, not the lower portion, not where the ear starts over here, but the eye is the center of the head. Okay, don't forget that, because typically what you'll end up doing is going like this. You'll take the. I'm exaggerating.
Is that her hairline or something?
No, that's the back of her head. This should be back here. Okay? But you're going to end up taking this away. Guarantee it. At least one person.
Let me see. What?
You're going to make the back of the head not. Okay. Now, if I take this and I draw a line here, this is where sacred geometry is kind of cool. From the tip of the nose, okay?
Yeah.
From the tip of the nose to the back of the head here. What do you see there?
A square.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
It's a square. So make sure that you're placing the figure in the right location. Otherwise, it's going to look real funny. And what's the problem here? It probably won't be like that. It will be like this. Because you see, if I drew the head here, what am I having? It's a vertical instead of a square. Okay? You understand why I'm going through these things? Because if I don't, you can understand how the structure works, then you're apt not to make as many mistakes as you would. Okay? Any questions?